And we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this webinar tonight or at lunchtime, depending on where you're joining us from today. It's great to have you here. Today, we're going to be talking about how to automate tax compliance for your online business so that you can focus on the work that you love. We'll give people a few more minutes to come in. People will be jumping in here. A few more people should be joining us. But we are super excited to share with you some of the best ways that we have found to manage tax compliance for online businesses. It's going to be a really, really good time. We're going to talk through what the tax process looks like from start to finish for online businesses selling worldwide. We'll look at different use cases, digital entrepreneurs, e-commerce companies, SaaS companies, etc. Really focusing on digital goods. But we're going to learn a lot together today, and it's going to be great. So as we're waiting on a few more people to jump in, just want to run through a couple housekeeping things with you. We're going to have an action-packed 45 minutes to 60 minutes here. We're going to be learning a lot. So I would encourage you, keep distractions to a minimum. Maybe close out some browser tabs, grab a cup of coffee, and just focus on what we're going to learn today. I think it's going to be really, really beneficial for you and for your business, which is great. Also, encourage you to get set up in the chat. We want this to be an interactive event where we can chat with you, connect with you. When you're getting set up in the chat, it looks like you might have to create a channel or something like that, but don't worry, it's just 1 or 2 clicks, and then you can navigate right back to this link. If you have any problems getting back to this link, you can just refer back to the email that we sent, and you can hop right back in. Okay, so just really quickly, while we're waiting, and so that we can test that the chat is working, why don't you let us know the answer to this question right in the chat. Write your name, and then tell us how many hours do you think that the average business spends per month on tax compliance. Okay, so get set up in the chat, write your name, and tell us your best guess about how many hours do you think that the average business spends per month on tax compliance. Okay, and then while we're waiting on some answers to roll in there, just want to introduce myself quickly. My name's Adam Highfill. I lead marketing here at Quadrano, and I'm going to be walking you through the majority of the presentation today, talking about the steps of the tax process, how you can automate those steps, and as well as joining me, my wonderful colleague, Century. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Century, and I work with the support team at Corderno. So I've been working here for about 3 years.
Awesome. And today, Century is going to be walking us through at the end, answering lots of our tax questions, and potentially even walking us through a demo if that can help some of resolve some of the questions or doubts that we have around what we're discussing today. So we got some people in the chat. 10 hours, 20 hours, 5 hours. Okay, potentially later on we're going to find out what the answer to that question is based on our research. Okay, but hey, our number one goal during this time is to just provide the maximum amount of value for you. We want to answer your questions. We want to make things really clear. That way you feel that you have clarity going back and beginning to implement some of these things into your business. Clarity around your tax process and how you can begin to automate it. Okay. Well, we're a couple minutes after the hour now, so let's go ahead and jump into our presentation. Thank you all for getting in the chat, getting set up there. And keep the questions, comments, anything coming. Century will be in the chat, sort of helping moderate that as we go through. Okay, so we are going to be chatting today about how to automate tax compliance for your online business so that you can focus on the work that you love, okay? And when it comes to digital sales, we have a major problem in the world. We have a major problem in the world of digital sales, and that is consumption taxes, sales tax, VAT, which is value added tax, or GST, which is goods and services tax. And these are really causing issues and stress for many online entrepreneurs, okay? And when you sell online, just the nature of selling online, right, is that our customers can be literally anywhere in the world. But by law, we still have to keep up with the tax obligations that we have, no matter what country or region or tax jurisdiction that we're selling in, okay? And if we don't, there's some pretty serious consequences to not being compliant. We've seen people face heavy fines or even worse, right? And on top of having to comply in so many different places, is that the rules and the laws and the rates of taxes are constantly being changed and updated, and it's really hard to actually keep up with. Here's a quick chart of all the places in the world where digital goods are taxable, right? So understanding this, like, how can we grow our business while also complying with consumption tax all over the world? It seems like a daunting task. It seems almost impossible, right? And whether we're dealing with VAT, GST, or sales tax, most of us who are selling online are liable for at least one of them. And I would say the majority of us are liable for multiple of them, actually. Here's another example of just the countries in the world where SaaS goods, SaaS products are taxed, right? And so based on this information, here's what you are responsible for as a business owner, okay, when it comes to your tax process. And again, this is your responsibility. These are the tedious tasks that you have to focus on. And if you don't do them, and if you don't do them right, nobody's going to come and save you and help you. So it's really important that you do them right. But here's some of the steps in the process. First, you need to track and register. Okay, so that means that you're proactively tracking your sales across all of the regions or tax jurisdictions that you're selling in, and then registering your business to collect tax once you pass a certain threshold in that region. Okay, and in order to be able to collect tax, which is step number 2, there's a couple different elements there that you need to keep in mind. You need to validate the business ID of your customers to know whether you are dealing with a B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to consumer type transaction. And that'll determine whether it's taxable or how it's taxable. And then once you determine that, you need to understand the location of your customer and what type of product or service you're providing to them. And all of those different factors actually come into play to calculate the accurate tax rate on that transaction. Wow. And we're just in step number 2. Step number 3 is billing. You have to bill your customers. You have to issue them tax compliant invoices. Okay. And different countries have different requirements, actually, for what information needs to be on those official documents. And you internally also need to keep up to date with all of those invoices. You need to know which ones are paid, all of your records, etc. Right? And then finally, filing and remitting. This is the step that all of us that causes the most stress, that we all dread. Right? You need to be keeping an accurate record of sales data and the tax that you've collected in all of these different jurisdictions. And you need to have that information curated and in one place and ready to file, right? Actually send your filings in for each of those jurisdictions. Wow. That is a lot of things in the tax process that you are responsible for, right? And so with that fresh on our mind, okay, I want to ask you a question. How much time are you spending on this process? How much time are you or your team spending on this process? Do you know? Do you have an idea more or less? Put in the chat if you know, if you think you know. Put in the chat exactly how much time you think your business is spending. Our research shows that most online businesses spend upwards of 40 hours per quarter on managing the steps and the process to comply with sales tax, right? So think about that, 40 hours a quarter. If you put that into context, that's an extra work week per quarter that we're spending to be compliant with taxes, right? And you're a savvy entrepreneur. You should be able to focus your time and attention on your business, right? Not on dealing with the government's dirty work, right? You're dealing with work that the government is creating for you, right? Is that fair? Do you guys think that's fair? You should be able to spend more of that time focusing on creating and shipping great products, driving sales, and delighting your customers, right? And that's where Quadrano comes into play, okay? Quadrano is a complete online toolkit that integrates seamlessly with your business processes, right? Your tool stack, your payment processors, your e-commerce platform, shopping cart, etc. And it allows you to automate consumption tax compliance worldwide, okay? And we want you to get started doing that today because we understand what a big impact that could have on your business. In fact, we're so convinced of that if you stay until the end of the presentation today, we're going to show you how to get started in just a few minutes. We're even going to throw in a special discount, okay, for those of you who have attended the webinar today. So I want you guys to stay engaged, ask questions in the chat, and stick around until the end, okay? So I want to start by talking a little bit about our story as a company. This is Corderno's story. It's the classic story of a product coming out of your own necessity, right? And about a decade ago, our founder, along with a small team, were working on creating some really cool software products, but they were struggling to stay on top of each aspect of the business. If you're anything like us, you've felt the same way, right? You want to be successful. You want to feel like you're making wise business decisions. You want to feel like you have all of your ducks in a row, right? Your house in order. But we quickly realized that the business wasn't just about creativity and innovation and creating great products. There was a ton of other crap that needed to be handled. For example, like sales tax and issuing invoices for all of our customers. There was lots of administrative work and other things that needed to be done for the business to operate other than just delighting our customers and getting our product to market. So let's be honest, for us, tax season, like the end of each quarter, tax season was like hell on earth because it was so disorganized and we didn't know what we were doing. And so we decided that we wanted to create a software tool that could help automating that process for us. And turned out, after some sweat and some tears, it worked. And we were finally able to give our business more attention and spend more time doing on what we love. And now that tool is called Quadrano. And it's been like a secret weapon for us. And since then, it's helped thousands of online businesses do the exact same thing. But the sad truth is that most companies don't automate consumption tax compliance. I would imagine that most of you, if you're on this webinar, you're probably not automating consumption tax compliance. You're probably trying a few other ways to accomplish this that really just aren't working well or are just eating up a lot of time and attention from you. Okay, so I want to talk through 3 ways that companies try to manage taxes that just don't work very well. Okay. These are bad solutions. Number 1 is to pretend that tax regulations don't exist, and then you just ignore the risk of non-compliance. Okay, this is a very dangerous place to be, but especially for a lot of small businesses, this is very common. It's easy to think like, oh, I don't live in that state, or I don't live in that country. They don't deserve a piece of my sales. I don't have to comply, because how are they going to know, whether I'm complying or not? It's almost like an ignorance is bliss type mentality. And I tell you, that's very dangerous. We've seen people get really heavy fines that put them in financial trouble. We've seen people actually get their businesses just taken away from them because of non-compliance. Okay, and I'm not trying to scare anybody or to create fear. That's just the reality. At the end of the day, these are laws that we have to comply with, right? Bad solution number 2 is managing taxes manually, usually in-house. Okay, and could be with a secretary or an administrative team or some kind of financial team that works in-house and manages this kind of stuff. But when you actually start to think about what it takes to pay employees and the amount of hours that they're spending on these kind of tasks, it's a lot of time and it's a lot of money. So it can be very, very expensive way to manage this process. And third, the third bad solution is trying to involve lots of third parties. And we've seen that this leads to lots of errors. It wastes time and money, but most importantly, is the stress factor, right? Because when you're trying to piece the puzzle together and make it work in different tools and keeping files here and keeping a spreadsheet there and all that kind of stuff, it really starts to stress you out because of the doubt. You doubt whether everything is being handled correctly, and you lose peace of mind. And that's one of the worst places that we can find ourselves as entrepreneurs, is not having the peace of mind that we're doing this, especially when it comes to taxes, right? That we're doing it correctly, because you never know what the consequences of doing it wrong or not handling everything correctly, what that can mean 1 year, 5 years, or 10 years down the road, right? But there's good news, and that's that there's a better way to do it. And we're here today to talk about Corderno. So obviously we're presenting to you Corderno as a better way to do it. But we're not just telling you that because we think our tool is awesome. We've really seen it work with customers. We've seen them benefit drastically by using Quadrano. So I want to share a story with you, and that's with Whereby. Whereby is a big company. They're growing very quickly. They're actually a competitor to Zoom, and they provide the freedom to work from anywhere. They have customers all over the world, and being a global company, it's very complicated for them to calculate tax for different jurisdictions, and with the amount of customers that they have, it's really difficult for them to dedicate time to accounting and taxes. So it's really helpful for them to be able to automate invoicing, automate tax calculation, and do it all in one place, one centralized hub like Corderno. And this is what they said the impact that Corderno has had on their business. And they've had customers all over the world, and it makes it tough to track tax, but Corderno has been really valuable for tax reporting and invoicing. And then as they've grown, they've been able to focus more time and attention on their core business, not just worrying about tax compliance, right? So I think it's really important to understand why this worked so well for them. And I think it worked really well for them because they were able to improve their internal workflows and streamline their processes, right, to make everything much more efficient. Second, they saved tons of time so that they were able to focus on the work that they love, and that's really important for their business, as she said here, dedicating more time to their core business, right? And then third, they were able to use real-time tracking and tax reports. So they always knew where they stood, what obligations they had worldwide, no matter how many different markets that they were selling into. So isn't that awesome? Like that you can implement one tool and it can work so well for you in many different areas. I don't know about you, but having some extra time to focus on product, to focus on support, to focus on generating sales, I think that would help most businesses to take a huge step forward. And that's exactly what Whereby has been able to do. I mean, their growth has been remarkable. I also want to break down how these exact steps that they used, you can use them as well to get the same results. Okay, I'm not saying that your company is going to blow up like their company. That's not the business that we're in, but you can get the same results based on what we see here. You can improve your workflow, streamline your processes, save tons of time, and always have a clear understanding and peace of mind about where you stand in your tax situation, right? Come on, if you think that is something that would be beneficial for your business, put a thumbs up or a bicep flex in the chat. But I want to walk through now 4 key steps of the tax process that you can automate with Quadrano. Okay, so let's jump in. First, you can sync your sales data across your entire tool stack. Okay, the reality with modern online businesses is that you probably use more than one tool or platform for sales. You might use Stripe and PayPal. Or for example, if you are an e-commerce company, you might be using Shopify and Amazon. And Corderno gets all of that information in one place for you, okay? Because Quadrano easily integrates with all major payment gateways, platforms, e-commerce platforms, etc. Okay, and there's 2 main ways that you can do this, and they're both remarkably simple. Okay, so the first way is that you can integrate Quadrano using our web app. Okay, and this is our no code required option. We received a couple questions about this before the webinar, about the different ways to integrate it. So I think Frank asked a question. So if you're on, Frank, this is the answer to your question. It's very quick to set up with our web app. You can just, with just a couple clicks, integrate all of your tools. And this is really a great solution for digital entrepreneurs, consultants, content creators, and even e-commerce companies. These are businesses that don't have a whole lot of development assets behind them. You might be the business owner yourself implementing this, right? So this is really, really simple and really powerful. It's a great way to use Quadrano. And then the second option would be integrating through our powerful and flexible API toolkit. Okay, and that gives you lots of flexibility to use exactly what you need. And we found that it takes developers less than 1 day to integrate. So you're able to implement it fast, iterate fast, test it out, see if it works for you. And this is really great for SaaS companies, platforms and marketplaces, and just in general bigger businesses that have more technical resources at their disposal to be able to put behind this. So it's a really great way to implement, as well as a really powerful way. So once you're connected to Corderno, whether it be through the web app or through the API, Corderno automatically goes to work importing the last 30 days of transactions for you and analyzing the data so you get an immediate update on your current tax situation. Okay, so the first step is syncing your sales data across your tool stack. Next is automating tax tracking and calculation. Okay, so Corderno tracks your sales from all platforms. Again, whether you sell from different platforms or just one, we track your sales from every platform in one place, and we notify you when you get close to a sales threshold in any tax jurisdiction. and that would let you know that you might be responsible for collecting tax and that you need to register. And so the good thing about this is that you can expand into new markets. You can start selling your products in new tax jurisdictions in new countries without the added stress or the added work of having to track your sales, and really be waiting or needing to understand when you need to register your business in the new tax jurisdiction. We let you know so you don't have to even think about that. Okay. And then when you do have to register, we provide you with tons of helpful tax guides and registration guides that make it really easy for you to understand your situation and get registered in your new tax jurisdiction. So from there, Corderno verifies the location of your customer. So now that you're actually starting to collect tax on your transactions, for every transaction, Corderno verifies the location of your customer and then also their business status. So we validate business IDs so we can determine for you if the transaction is B2C or B2B, right? And then we calculate the tax on those transactions based on the type of product and the location where you're selling, right? So all of that is done automatically for you. So you don't have to worry about keeping up with tax rates, doing any kind of calculations. You don't even have to worry about new changes in the tax code or rates changing on different products. You can just focus on selling your products and your services. Isn't that awesome? You can focus on doing what on your core business. All right. So next is automating tax compliant billing. Okay. And Corderno automatically creates invoices or receipts and sends them to your clients. Okay. And these receipts are compliant for your your customer's tax jurisdiction. It's in their language, it's in their currency, it's has the information that's necessary in that tax jurisdiction, so they're always compliant. And the best part is that they're 100% customizable to your brand, so they look awesome, and you can maintain a really great customer experience while automating the entire process. That doesn't suffer at all. Okay. And then lastly, step 4 is you get access to real-time tax reports. And again, these are omni-channel reports. So all of your sales data from all the different places that you sell is coming into one place. I can just imagine, with the stress and the coming down to the wire with the tax deadlines, right? You're trying to export sales data from Shopify or from Amazon or from Stripe, and you're trying to curate it into one spreadsheet and then do all the analysis. Gosh, it's just like a nightmare, right? Well, in Quadrano, you just have one dashboard and you have tax reports that are just one click away, where all that data has already been stored for you and organized really easily. And so understanding the data, the report, and actually doing the filing takes minutes as opposed to hours or even days, right? And so another really important thing is that the handoff process between yourself and your trusted tax advisor, the CPA that you use, is that the handoff is really seamless. Okay, these reports make it really easy for you to just export them, or you can give your tax advisor access to your Corderno account, and then they can get all the information they need there. And another really, really awesome thing is that we can also get you in touch with certified tax advisors who know how to use Corderno. They're familiar with the tool and they're experts in your tax jurisdiction, and they can handle things for you. Okay, so the reporting, filing, and remitting processes are just super seamless, streamlined, and stress-free, really. Okay, so those are 4 ways that you can automate the tax process with Quadrano. And so Mailtraq is another company that has done this, just one of thousands of businesses that trust Quadrano to eliminate hours of confusing tax management and scale their business. Okay. Mailtraq is a company that is making email more effective and transparent, and they have over 1 million users in 180 something countries. It's a really big business. It's an impressive amount of global customers that they have, and so you can imagine the volume of invoices that they have to handle. Imagine trying to do that manually. That would just be like literally impossible, right? Like infeasible. And so by connecting Quadrano, they're able to handle all of the necessary billing and tax information and perfectly automate their invoicing processes. And they actually don't even have an internal billing team. Can you imagine if they had to do it, using other processes in-house to process hundreds of thousands of invoices? Mailtraq doesn't even have a billing team, so I think that's amazing. And this is a quote from their CFO. Corderno gets our data straight from the payment platforms that we use, and they manage all the taxation. So all they have to do when they want to sell in a new country is set it up in Corderno, and it's already parameterized. And our accountants then have access to Corderno, and they can get all the information that they need on demand, which is what we were just talking about with the handoff process, how seamless and stress-free that it really is. So based on everything that we've just talked about, can you imagine what your life or what your business would look like if you could just forget about all of the time that you waste on tax compliance, the confusion, the stress, the doubt, right? The lack of peace of mind, and take back control of your business. Get back to working on the stuff that you love, right? We are all savvy business people on this call, and we want to make wise decisions. We want to work smarter, not harder. And we at Corderno, we want you to optimize your processes so that you can scale your business, make your business more profitable. I mean, think back to the 40 hours per quarter. What could you do? Imagine what you could do with 40 extra hours per quarter. Well, we don't want you to miss out on that opportunity to try Quadrano. And so that's why we have made a special offer for participants in this webinar. We want to give you 30% off during your first 3 months of a premium Quadrano account. And all you have to do is start a free 7-day trial today. It's a free 7-day trial. You don't even have to put in your credit card information. You can just get started, get it set up. And you have until the 8th of October, which is more than 7 days away from now, to redeem the coupon code, which is webinar in all caps webinar, to get 30% off for your first 3 months of Corderno. And we're happy to make that available to you, and we want you to start a 7-day free trial today. In fact, while you're listening to me, go to quaderno.io and start it now if you haven't started one already. While you're doing that, let's just do a recap, okay? With Corderno, you will be able to, as soon as you sign up for your 7-day free trial, you can already start using all of these features, okay? You can integrate Corderno with your current systems. That just takes a couple clicks. If you're using the web app, it literally is just like 2 minutes, a couple clicks to get your all of your platforms, all of your systems integrated with Corderno. And then we'll import all of your invoices and transactions for the last 30 days of business data. So you'll know exactly where you stand, right? And you'll know where you need to collect taxes. So you can start just understanding and getting the right tax on every transaction automatically, right? You don't have to worry about where you're selling, what product you're selling. All of that is handled automatically. You'll start issuing customized invoices to all of your customers in their currency, in their language, on an invoice with your branding, and keep it all super organized in one place. Okay. Next, you'll be able to track all of your future sales and get notified when you near a threshold and when you might need to register in that jurisdiction. And we'll always keep you up to date on new tax laws or new tax codes that are coming into effect. You'll get access to your financial data in an easy to read, up to the minute report, or different types of reports that you have access to and that you can share with your tax advisor, or get in touch with a Corderno certified partner in your tax jurisdiction that can help you do the filing and remitting. Doesn't that sound awesome? Would that not make your life so much easier as a business owner? It's really easy. You can try all of these features as I mentioned. All you have to do is sign up for a free 7-day trial of Quadrano. Again, all you have to do is just sign up for your free trial as I mentioned, and then use the code webinar when you sign up when you upgrade to a premium plan by October 8th. Okay, so get signed up for your 7-day free trial today. And with that, I'm going to stop talking for a little while. Let's do a little bit of interaction. Let's get to some of the questions that are coming in the chat. Century is here. She's going to help with the Q&A. We would love to take your questions about the tool, how the tool works, how it can handle each step of the tax process for you. And we can even do a short demo of the tool so you guys can see it in action. And maybe that'll help answer any other questions as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Century, and we can start taking some of the questions that have come in the chat.
Yeah, so some of the questions I was holding off from replying in the chat because I thought it would be easier now at the end to just kind of run through them, and then I can also give everyone a demo to show you a little bit of how a Corderno account would work. And so starting off with, I think most of the first questions that came in we answered in the chat, but then Lucas asked, when do you recommend users to register for sales tax? So we're not accountants. What Corderno can do is you will have a threshold report in your account. So let me go ahead and show that to what that would look like. And with that, you would be able to see when you are approaching a threshold. So in that case, you'll receive a notification from Quadrano. And when you receive that notification, we recommend that you reach out to an accountant to see if you may need to register in a jurisdiction. So for example, this is what I would see in my Quadrano account. I just created an account and imported Corderno automatically imported my information for the past 30 days. And I would see here, basically if I'm approaching a threshold in any jurisdiction, so I can keep track here, and then I get a notification from Quadrano as well. We also had a question about whether Corderno can manage different tax rates for different products, and the answer is yes. So no matter if you're selling digital products, physical products, ebooks, or everything, Corderno can distinguish the product type. So you can keep track of maybe an ebook with a special tax rate, and then also a digital service with another tax rate. Let me see here. Let's see what else is coming in. You can reach out to our support team at support@corderno.io. We'll put that in the chat as well. And let's see.
There's a question here from Ian. He said, I sell courses, and some courses are classified as digital goods in some countries and other courses because they are a different format. Do they count as digital goods? Can Corderno handle this?
Yeah, so that was what I was mentioning a minute ago. So if the courses are, maybe some courses are one tax class and some courses are another tax class, Quadrano can distinguish those. You just have to let Quadrano know which is which. Ian's question about, can I simply stop selling into a country if I'm approaching a threshold? So that would be, Corderno wouldn't be able to do that automatically, but we'd recommend checking with your accountant or your platform if that's something that they would offer or recommend.
Yeah, well, in that case as well, Ian, like if you see in Quaderno that you're approaching a threshold in a country and that you're not interested in selling more in that country, then you could actually make the strategic business decision to take that product offline in that country or that region or whatever, in your e-commerce platform or whatever. But that's another benefit of Corderno, is that you have access to all of that information in real time, so you always understand where you stand in every region.
Okay. And for Claire, yes, the tax rates are preloaded when you add specific jurisdictions to your Quadrano account. So when you first create an account, you'll be prompted to select the countries or in other jurisdictions where you may be registered for tax collection, and Quadrano will automatically populate your account with the tax rates.
Great. We have another question here. Do these tax regulations only apply for digital goods, not physical goods? That's a very good question. I can't pronounce your name based on what you have there in the chat. Goodmanson.
So Corderno can take care of tax calculations for physical goods and digital goods. So both cases, you can set up your account for either or for both. So the regulations may be different, but tax calculations, you would see the reports correctly in your account.
Great. Keep the questions coming in, guys, if you still have more.
Dan asked about scaling price options, and yes, so there are, you can change your Quadrano account plan whenever you'd like. So if you have a higher amount of transactions one month, you can change plans, and we do offer Quadrano Connect for marketplaces as well. So depending on the way your marketplace is set up, we do offer a separate platform for a separate API for marketplaces.
Yeah, it's a really great question as well, Dan. But the pricing structure of Quaderno, the way that it is set up, is to scale with your business, right? So we charge based on the number of transactions that you process per month, right? So if you're a small business and you're only processing a few transactions per month, well, your pricing is accordingly, and then the pricing scales with you as you grow. So it's really tailored for different types and sizes of businesses. Martine is asking if there's a maximum number of transactions that Corderno can handle. No, but above a certain amount, I believe it's, remind me, Sandra, is it 200 or is it 25,000? Our enterprise or 200 or 2,500, our enterprise account kicks in, and then it's a more tailored solution to your business needs.
Exactly. I think there were a few questions we missed here.
Are tax rates already preloaded for products and countries? Asked Claire.
Yes, so that one we mentioned a minute ago. Yes,
Okay.
When you add your jurisdictions, they're added automatically. There's one about going back to UK and EU. Does it have the end users' names and products and sales and VAT info? So Corderno can generate compliant invoices for the UK and EU with the correct tax rate. So when you connect an integration. Corderno, for example, any payment processor you may use where you're receiving payments, Corderno would receive the information from the payment processor. We do offer reporting for the one-stop shop and for the UK as well. So you would see a report in your account for the one-stop shop and then a separate report for the UK.
Excellent. Pencils and Stories asked, I wanted to get the basic plan. Does the offer code work for that as well? Yes, of course. The offer code works for all pricing plans, so feel free to get the plan that is most convenient for your business, and then use the code webinar in all caps when you upgrade.
Okay. And then Ian asks, how does Quadrano distinguish between B2B and B2C? So Quadrano does verify tax IDs from several different jurisdictions, including the EU, the UK, Switzerland, and Quebec, and a few others. So Quadrano would be able to identify those B2B sales based on the customer's tax ID.
Yeah, and those tax IDs are validated automatically for you, which is great. Let's see, have any more questions here? Are there scaling pricing options? We already got to that one. Is there anything that we missed? Keep the questions coming in if you have them. I am selling in B2B. I do not have B2C. How can I make Corderno accept only B2B customers by making VAT numbers a mandatory field?
So if you have your own checkout form, and you could make that a required field, and if Corderno receives that field then Corderno would receive that field for all of your customers. So that's up to you. And going back, Grisha also asked, will it tell you when you need to register for VAT in countries? Yes, it will. Corderno lets you know when you're approaching a registration threshold.
Lucas is asking, what is the best report to give accountants? It's this is for the UK. Should he go to reports countries?
So this would depend on your what your accountant is looking for. We actually recommend adding your accountant as a user on your account. One of the great things about the Corderno accounts is you can have unlimited users. So if you want to add your accountant as a user so they can pull any reports directly without having to contact you about them, you can do that in the user section. So in the report, though, for the UK, we offer a UK, there would be a tax report as well, either depending on where your business is located, you would see that tax. If your business is in the UK, you would see that in a domestic tax report. And if your business is outside the UK, you would see any UK tax in the international report. Ian asking about B2B sales. It can't distinguish B2B sales. So Corderno uses, Corderno verifies the tax IDs where those databases, where that may be available. So in the EU, for example, there's a database that we use to verify the tax IDs of the customers. And as these become more common worldwide, Corderno intends to add more to our system.
Dan asks, do you have developer support for integration?
We can provide technical support at the same support email, support@quadrano.io. And we also have a very thorough API documentation and developer documentation as well. So we'd be happy to provide you with any of those resources.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead, while we're thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and drop that link in the chat just in case he wants to, or anybody wants to check that out, developers.quadrano.io. Drop that in there for you, Dan, so you can check that out. Do we have a video? Yes, I think we do have a video about integrating Quadrano with Stripe. I think you could find that on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and the good thing is with most of those integrations, most of them are just a few clicks. So it doesn't require any programming to connect Stripe to Quadrano. In your Quadrano account, you simply connect Stripe, and then it's just a few more clicks.
Yeah, we also have some great support docs that are specifically related to connecting your Stripe accounts. That are really thorough, and as Century said, it's a really easy process through the web app, just a couple clicks. You can even sign up for Corderno with your Stripe account. So when you go to the button, or when you go to the sign up page, there's a button right there that says sign up with your Stripe account, and that makes everything even more easy. Yeah. I'm going to drop the link to the support site in as well, and that the support site has a great search feature. So if there's any specific keywords, like setting up Stripe, for example, you can just type that in and really easily locate some of our best support resources. Pencils and Stories is asking, how much work is it to set up the jurisdictions if you sell worldwide?
So adding jurisdictions in Corderno is based on where your business is registered. So when you first create an account, you just have to check the box where your business is registered. That could be maybe one or multiple jurisdictions. And then from there, Corderno will let you know when you're reaching a threshold in another jurisdiction. So then you can take a look at your sales and speak with an accountant to find out more information about registering in that jurisdiction, or if you need to register at all.
Excellent. These are really great questions, guys. If you have any more, feel free to keep putting them in the chat. We are at your disposal. We're here to help you. We'll be here as long as you guys need us to be here to answer questions. So keep them coming. Again, feel free at any moment to pop over to Quadrano.io and sign up for that to start your 7-day free trial. Doesn't cost you anything, no credit card information, nothing. It's just ready for you to sign up and to start implementing your platform, your tools, and start testing it right away. Ian sorry, go ahead, Century.
Yeah, I was just going to add that link there for Ian on the Contact Us page to request a call here.
Yeah, that's great. I was going to do the same thing.
Okay, and then we have another question here. If I make the checkout form field for that tax number a mandatory field for the B2B clients, do I need a separate field for GST? No, this can all be managed with one field. So Corderno has one generic field for the customer's tax ID, and that would be whether it's a GST number, VAT number, Corderno would receive that number in the same field.
Good questions. Keep them coming, guys. If you have questions, keep them coming. Again, we're here as long as you need us to be here. Happy to answer as many questions as possible for you guys. So, keep in mind that we also have some really great resources on our website. If you go to Quadrano and you click on the tab that says Quadrano.io, and you click on this tab that says resources. You can find our blog there, or free tax guides. We have all kinds of really helpful guides and information for you there. A guide for pretty much any tax jurisdiction you can think of, different kinds of products, different kinds of businesses, as well as how to register and file online in some of the jurisdictions that allow that. So that's great. We have all kinds of information that can help you, whether today or any point in the future. So.
I have a few more questions here.
Great.
Martine, we do have accounting partners that we can recommend. So Corderno has a network of partners around the world that can help with registration and filing. And Dan, you are welcome to create a trial account at Corderno. And then if you contact us at support@quadrano.io, we can also provide more information about how to go about testing different setups.
Why do we do webinars so rarely? That is a great question, Johanna. We're going to try to do these more often. You guys tell us, is this helpful? Has this been helpful for you? If this has been helpful, tell us in the chat, and we'll try to do these more often. I think it's a great idea, as long as there's people like you guys who have questions and who are ready to interact with us and learn more about how to grow your business, right? And automate these processes. So yeah, we're excited to do more in the future. Frank is asking a couple questions here. Do I have to register with each state? And if so, do they charge you? Are all integrations from your services done through a plugin, or is it done through code? And finally, does the monthly fee include all fees we will be charged for your services?
So Frank, we have a few different articles on our blog about how to go about registering in different states, and the links to the different tax agencies in different states. By charging you money, that would depend on your case. So generally the registration, if you're using an accountant, that would be a separate service from Corderno. But if you owe sales tax there, that would be something to discuss with your accountant. Are all integrations from your services done through a plugin, or is it done through code? So we do have some, we have a variety. We have payment processor integrations. We also have some WordPress plugins, and then you can also create your own integration with our API. And for contacting those accountants, if you contact us at support@corderno.io, we can put you in touch. The Corderno monthly fee does include all of Corderno's services. So with the startup plan or higher, you'll have full access to Corderno's features.
Yeah, and I think it's important to mention as well in that question, you pay for your subscription to Quadrano, and we don't charge you for anything else based on that. So you pay the same amount every month, as long as your transactions, the number of transactions falls inside of the account that you have selected. That's all you pay to us. There's no extra fees or anything like that. Also, I'm going to paste the link to our support documentation, where we talk about all the different platforms that we integrate with, and you can see there whether that particular integration is done is like a native integration that we've developed, or if it's done through a plugin or other apps. All right, guys, any more questions? Ian, how much is the subscription per month? That just depends on the plan that you choose. There's a variety of different plans, and they are built and designed to scale with your business. So we have some that start with a small number of transactions per month, going up to pretty much an unlimited number of transactions per month with our enterprise plan. Here's the link to our pricing, so you can check that out there. And all plans pretty much have access to all features. So you won't be missing out on any key features by getting a smaller plan. Again, pricing is only based on transactions. So even with the smallest plan, you have access to pretty much all main Corderno features. Awesome. I appreciate you guys telling us that this is helpful. It's good feedback for us. All right, guys, any more questions? We're right at 60 minutes right now, so getting ready to wrap up. But if you have any questions, again, we're happy to stay here as long as you guys have questions. Again, don't forget to check out, go to Quadrano.io, sign up for your 7-day free trial. And again, you can integrate that really easily just in a few clicks in a few minutes. You can do that 7 days for free, no credit card required, anything. Take all the time you need to test it out, to get integrated. And then when your free trial ends, or when you want to upgrade to a premium plan before October 8th, you can use the code webinar in all caps to get 30% off of your first 3 months, which is up to $250 or euros worth of a discount on the tool. So it's a really great offer. We want you to take advantage of it, and we want you to implement Corderno so you can optimize your business processes and save time and stress with these pesky consumption taxes. Dan is asking if there is a transaction, but the cost of the product is free. Does that count?
Yeah, so Dan, for more details, feel free to send me an email at support@corderno.io. But basically, this would depend on the payment processor or the platform that you're using and how it sends information to Corderno. If it generates a invoice in Quadrano, then an invoice, expense, credit note, or estimate in Quadrano, all of those count as transactions.
All right, we're starting to slow down here. Any last questions? Final call for questions. Again, we're happy to stay as long as you guys have questions. But do you have questions? Let us know. Going once, going twice. All call for final questions. And if you have any other questions at any point in time, obviously you don't have to be on the webinar with us to get answers to questions. We have an awesome support team that Century leads. They do a great job both handling just questions, general questions about the tool, development, questions about integration and development for developers, and all of that. All you have to do is write us at support at Corderno.io at any moment, and we're happy to help you out with any questions. We have one more question here from Johannes. How can I set up Corderno to use my domain for sending invoices?
So at the moment, you wouldn't be able to do that directly in Corderno, but if you send us an email, we can send you a few workarounds to help you do that.
Dan, yes, we will be sharing the webinar. We will send out an email after the webinar, probably tomorrow, just giving you access to the replay. That way you can watch it again if necessary. If there's something that you missed, you can go back and check it out. If you have any friends or colleagues who you think this might be helpful to share with, maybe you have people in your organization that you think would be helpful to share with, please do that. Feel free to do that. No problem at all. And yeah, we'll stay in touch that way, and you can always access the webinar. Thank you. Really, really good to hear positive feedback about the webinar from you guys. It's been really awesome to be here. It's great spending time with you, answering questions, talking about this. We're so passionate about helping you guys automate these processes so you can do the work that you enjoy. The reason you got into business was not to sit around and worry about taxes and try to figure out how to do it. And we want to help you just make that that process so much easier and give you peace of mind. So with that, I think we will conclude the call. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to support@Corderno.io. And then lastly, again, make sure that you go to Corderno.io and sign up for a 7-day free trial. 7-day free trial. You can get in there, integrate all of your systems, test it out, see how it works for you. You have 7 days to do that. And then before October 8th, use the code webinar to get 30% off for your first 3 months. All right. We really want you guys to take advantage of this offer. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do it now. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Get on there and do it now and take advantage of this while it's available. Okay. So with that, we will sign off. We appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great, it's Thursday, so hope you guys have a great weekend, and we hope to speak to you very soon.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.